Hello again, Kirk House. I'm going to give a quick update on the progress I've been making on this G-Force and other force simulator for driving simulators. And actually, now that I think about it, this should work for things like flight simulators. Some of the new stuff coming out for the Oculus Rift, Valkyrie could add to those as well. So what you're looking at here is a few things I've been putting together. Just kind of a breadboard here so I can show some of the PWM stuff. I've got a Haptics evaluation kit from TI right here, which is kind of wired into this. So it's kind of a chain of things that have to happen just to drive a little motor. These are the two motors over here. Your kind of old school ERM, it's probably in your phone. Then the newer guys that are coming out are here, and they also make piezoelectric motors, which are kind of new, which I'm looking into to see if they're any better in this application than the LRA. So I thought I'd give a quick demo of what I have so far. Last video was a lot of talk, not a lot of demos of what's progressing. So what I'm going to do is plug in. This is an FTDI cable. And a lot of the electronics are built in right next to the USB plug. This cable kind of goes around back and comes out over here, wired into the breadboard. And this is how I'm creating a PWM signal. And PWM is pulse width modulation, and that's how you can drive the amount of force you're sending to the motors over here. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And you can see here the lights come on. Nothing's really happening yet. So what you do to control the LEDs, as well as the fourth one, you've got 3 LEDs and then the fourth is plugged directly into this board. What I'm going to do is demo PWM. You'll be able to see it with the lights. The fourth PWM output will be going to the eval kit over here, which has a very tiny little chip on it right there. You can hardly see it. And that's what's really doing all of the work in this. So let me go ahead and I wrote some software in it's just C, using Pella C, which is a free download to build software. This is kind of heavily based on some of the code I found out there on the internet. Hackaday has a good tutorial on bitbang mode. If you want to figure out how to do PWM without any sort of chips in between. And this allows you to kind of bypass the middlemen, bypass Arduino and all those those chips in between, and just go straight from your program on your computer directly to PWM output, which in the case of a USB like controller or gaming device, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, in part because I don't have a lot of time to build this thing, and also because it's cheaper. The simpler you make it, the cheaper it is. So I'm going to go fire up my program here in Pella C. In this, and I have a 2-year-old sleeping upstairs, so that's why I'm kind of speaking quietly. But here you go. You can see the PWM pulse width modulation going through the LEDs here. And that is allows you to kind of increase and decrease the strength of the signal. That's oversimplified. Google it if you're interested in the details. But you can see here it's going through the 3 lights in kind of a pulse, a wave. There's no light on the fourth one, but the fourth output is plugged in right here into the PWM input. So this is the TI Haptics evaluation kit, and it has PWM in, so you can control these motors with the let's see here. That's interesting. I'm getting power through the board from the PWM, which right now this USB cable is coming in is only providing power. You're not controlling this from the computer. The control's coming through this PWM source. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, and you'll see it fire up here. Alright, it's running through diagnostics. And next what I'm going to do is put it into PWM external mode with that. So now what I'm about to do is turn on motor control through PWM. So whenever a light goes bright, it should spin up the motor faster. I'm going to do it on B2, which is the LRA motor, which is a little bit loud. But as you can see, it's kind of syncing with the lights. I'm going to switch it over to the LRA motor, which is much quieter. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's what I'm going to be using in my first prototype. These ERM motors are just big and power hungry and noisy, and they break. So these really vibrate pretty strong, which is what you need. Like if this is as hard as it would go, which I think is what it'll do, that's strong enough to really convey to you that you're braking hard, or if you lock up the brakes, it'll actually vibrate less hard because you're not braking as hard, you're sliding. So anyway, that's the long and short of what I have so far. Now these kits here are $100 each. So with 6 motors, obviously that's going to be way too expensive to sell in a product. So this whole eval kit is based on this tiny little chip here. And the reason it's that expensive is because they make it easy for you to test PWM. You've got all these jacks and outputs and etc. These are the actual chips. I've got 15 of them lined up here. You can see they're really tiny, and they're only a couple bucks each. So you look at this and you go, wow, I need 6 motors to do all the different degrees of freedom. You're looking at $600. Well, that's not the case. You're looking at $2 per driver. These LRA motors are about $10 a pop in low quantity. So in theory, you could build a circuit board that looks kind of like this, but would have multiple of these DRV chips on them. And then you plug in, multiple motors. If you wanted 6, you'd be looking at $60 in motors, another $12 in chips. So you're, potentially, depending on what the circuit board costs, you're looking at, less than $100. And that's my hope, is to sell these somewhere around there, make it worth my time. Name I'm still working on right now, but another quick update. This is PWM, which is, it works. It's good for prototyping, but I'm going to be switching it over to I2C, which this also has an input for somewhere over here, which kind of, PWM is just kind of sloppy. IDC is sort of like the USB of electronics. In the old days we had serial mouse, we had parallel ports for printers, etc. That's kind of what PWM's like. So, and it's also really power hungry. So I'm going to be switching this up and rebuilding some code to use the I2C inputs, which give you 256 sort of levels of control, steps, for the motor strength, and you can run through demo modes on this, and it's really a smooth transition. So I'm not worried that 256 will be insufficient. There's a lot of logic in each of these 15 chips here that really allow you to drive this in a way that'll make it, feel real. And they're only a year or two old, a couple of years I think. So this is all kind of new tech that's been coming out that I'm trying to take advantage of. So anyway, so much for that being short. That's the update. Shoot me any questions, and if you're bored and you know how to write C++, let me know. I could use some help to get this going quicker. Thanks.